Donald Trump has now done exactly what he once accused everyone else of doing. After years of calling himself a defender of free speech, his White House is now putting independent creators, podcasters, journalists, and critics.
Know that President Trump sometimes makes up his own reality and then sometimes also goes after people that he doesn't like very clearly.
Right. And ironically enough, Donald Trump just created a media offenders list. So basically an enemies list for content creators. And he put my name on it. And so if you search whitehouse.gov for this media offenders list, you'll find my name. And I just think, for a guy who presented himself as this free speech champion, this crusader against censorship, for him now to go after YouTubers, podcast hosts, it's just the peak of weakness. Donald Trump is a fragile, small, petty little man. And the reality is that I wear his scorn as a badge of honor to be named alongside people like Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert. If Donald Trump is so eager to release lists now, he should probably start with the one that he's on 38,000 times.
Okay, well, that's
on public target lists. And one thing is very clear, this is not strength, this is fear. Because powerful people do not need enemies lists. Fragile people do. The point is not just that Trump is angry at media figures. The point is that his administration is trying to send a message, criticize us, expose us, challenge us, and we will make you a target. That is the real danger here. Because once the government starts naming private citizens and independent media voices as offenders, it is no longer about accountability. It becomes intimidation. For years, Republicans built their entire brand around free speech. They claimed they were fighting censorship. They claimed Democrats were silencing voices. But now the moment independent media starts growing, the moment creators start reaching millions without corporate permission, suddenly the same people want lists, pressure, threats, changing government power used against critics. This is why independent media matters, because legacy media often folds. Big companies settle. Powerful executives calculate risk. But independent creators can say what others are afraid to say. And that is exactly why Trump sees them as a threat. Not because they are lying, not because they are dangerous, but because they are effective. And let's be honest, being targeted by the government is not some small thing. It brings pressure, it brings threats, it brings legal fear, it brings attention from people you do not want attention from. But the worst response would be silence. Because silence teaches authoritarian people one lesson: keep going because it works. So the answer cannot be to back down. The answer has to be louder, clearer, and more direct. If the White House wants to elevate independent media by attacking it, then independent media should accept that challenge. Every attack becomes proof that the message is working. Every list becomes evidence that they are scared. This is not normal politics. This is not just another Trump headline. This is a government trying to condition critics into silence. And if it happens to YouTubers today, it can happen to journalists tomorrow, activists next week, and ordinary citizens after that. That is why this moment matters. Trump wanted this list to scare people, but it may do the opposite. It may show millions of Americans exactly which voices the White House is afraid of. And if the goal was to silence independent media, then the result may be the complete opposite: more attention, more resistance, and more people refusing to be intimidated. So share this video, subscribe for more updates, and stay connected with independent media. Because when powerful people start making lists of critics, the answer is not to disappear. The answer is to make sure everyone sees the list.
Look, I like Brendan Carr. He's a good guy. He's the chairman of the FCC. I work closely with him. But what he said there is dangerous as hell.
For people that are listening, because this is going to be, quote, controversial, so I want to make sure we explain it clearly. When you say no and it's dangerous, explain and run this out, the slippery slope that this can open, so that people understand why we're saying it.
So the Federal Communication Commission is in charge of granting broadcast licenses. So ABC, NBC, CBS, they have licenses from the FCC. It is true that under statute, they're required to be in the public interest.
Yep.
What he is saying is Jimmy Kimmel was lying. That's true. He was lying. And his lying to the American people is not in the public interest. And so he threatens explicitly, we're going to cancel ABC's license. We're going to take him off the air. So ABC cannot broadcast anymore. And I got to say, he threatens it. He says, We can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way.
Yeah.
And I got to say, that's right out of Goodfellas. That's right out of a mafioso coming into a bar going, nice bar you have here. It'd be a shame if something happened to it. And I got to say, look, I understand. Jimmy Kimmel has mocked me so many times I cannot count. The corporate media, they are dishonest. They are liars. I hate what Jimmy Kimmel said. I am thrilled that he was fired. But let me tell you, if the government gets in the business of saying,
What you
we
can and
don't
can't
like
say.
what you, the media, have said, we're going to ban you from the airwaves if you don't say what we like. That will end up.
Government. It's crazy to be like both so incompetent and so crazed about attacking people at the same time. I mean, look, I think they have worked to destroy anyone that opposes them. It's part of their authoritarian playbook. They have gone after, whether it's large companies like obviously CBS and large institutions, to successful new media channels, right? Like yourself, other podcasters that are out in this space. People, I mean, you and others have these enormous audiences in the digital space, on YouTube, so many other ways. And I think they're intimidated by that. The right, we've allowed the right for so long to dominate the digital space, to dominate YouTube, to dominate the podcasting space. And it's just been in the last few years, you look about what's happened in the last 5 years.